What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Party Makes Things Worse. This time around, this is technically a scheduling conflict / a DM writer's room convalescence, so I am going to push this over to Ethan to give us a breakdown because he is the honorary DM for today.
Hello, everybody. So today we are playing down the wonderful Nick. Bron Swanson could not join us, and so it felt unfair to continue on in Spencer's beautiful tapestry when missing one of the colors of thread that makes it so gorgeous. So instead, we are going to do a one-shot. Now, normally we just sort of throw some casual one-shots in Fadia or one of our other fantastic setting, sometimes in a different game, but in this instance we wanted to stick with D&D, and we had a perfect opportunity. As some of you may be aware now and in the future, this little channel of ours first published product was recently released. I'm gonna just be candid. If you're watching this, you've been getting a lot of free stuff from us. The receipt is due. That credit has run dry. You go to Drive-Thru RPG, you find the Lich's Dollhouse, you're legally required to buy a copy. I'm legally required to say that you're not legally required to buy a copy, but you're legally required to buy a copy.
Morally, I'd say you owe us $3 US.
So just do that.
And that's what it costs. So.
Really cheap, very affordable. You've gotten hundreds of hours of Let's Plays from us, so frankly, you kind of owe us at this point, so go buy that and leave a 5-star review. But we already had begun work long before that on our second adventure, those two things sort of moving together, and it's ready for us to run to see if it functions. So today we will be running Void's Eye Observatory, our next adventure that we've been working on. I'm very excited about. Pardon me while I burp. This is a fun-loving adventure for some level 5 characters, and I think everybody's going to be fine. Now, I will say, this is a playtest product. So if today ends in a TPK, that's not my fault. And I frankly, I will accept no ill words either way about it. So, we begin. Far from any city or town that casts mundane or arcane light into the sky stands a peculiar hill that rises high out of the western wastes of Fadia. Perched atop that hill like a watchtower is the Void's Eye Observatory. For centuries, revelations and discoveries have poured forth from the astrologers and scholars that spend countless nights communing with the stars of the sky looking for answers. In recent decades, a town has sprouted up in the shadow of the observatory, a small town named Twilight. The town is named for the most important rule they have on the books. Every day, when the sun sets, every single light in town is extinguished because they can't afford to disturb the work of the observatory. It is in this place that our adventure begins. A few weeks ago, Twilight went completely silent. No caravan sent into the town have returned, no messages, mundane or magical, have been returned, and people are beginning to fear the worst. Strangest of all is that tales coming out of the wastes speak of a column of burning, bright, magenta light lancing into the sky. Each night, the beam's unearthly glow bathes the plain in a soft, pink hue, and if the reports are to be believed, it brings strange dreams along with it to those that sleep bathed under its lights. Who knows what may come to pass if this strange anomaly goes uninvestigated, but who will brave the wastes and face whatever lies in wait at the Void's Eye? Bum, bum, bum! You have been contacted by Galeron Pedrick, a magister, basically Fadia's magical detectives, the people that solve crimes and look into issues revolving around that subject, has offered you, a humble adventuring party, a handsome sum of gold to the tune of 2,750 gold pieces, along with a respectable volume of whatever it is that you find during your adventure. Obviously, you can't loot the observatory and leave it, a couple of sticks in a field. But, maybe you rifle through some pockets. Old Galeron Pedrick's not going to tell anybody. He emphasizes this is a dangerous mission. He needs you to go out to the town of Twilight, discover what has caused this issue, and solve this problem. He's busy with larger and more important issues on the mainland, sort of taking care of some things in the city, and can't afford the long journey out into the western wastes that all of you are about to go on. Attempts to scry and teleport in have always failed. Scrying ends up looking at random locations, and teleports have dumped people halfway across the world. Sorting this into the territory of, well, that's a shame for the bulk of the sort of above level 5 adventurers of the world. So, let's go round robin and introduce our characters and get ready to run Void's Eye Observatory.
All right.
Vaughn, you're up.
I'm playing Burdock Branchbud, a Furbog fighter and Echo Knight. So he's kind of got like this like fey shimmery echo of himself that he can conjure, and he's got like a giant like kind of like it's sort of like a steel oak halberd with like various bits of moss and vines growing on it. More vines kind of like in his poofy kind of bear-ish hair kind of stuff, and he's kind of worried about the fire and if it's going to like spread through the waste and burn up all the shrubland or something too.
Nice. I'm playing as Quill Rothic. He is a human paladin. Oath of the Ancients is his oath here. He despises all the unnatural within the world and hopes to cleanse it to bring back balance to Phadia. As was once true, shall be true again. Quill is in his early 40s. He has a completely shaved head, dark features, a very serious man, and he's here to get business done. Is his whole deal.
Michael?
All right. And I have Lyre Coldsnap, a white dragonborn. Pretty large fellow. You wouldn't think that he's a caster, but he is. But funny enough, he is a blade pack. He for a while now, he has heard whispers from his patron, but he does not know the name nor form of the patron. Only promise that going along with the path given to him, he'll find out eventually. And he values honor above all else, expects honor from others as well himself.
All right. Nice. We got a pretty rich little group here. This is great. I'm excited. Alrighty. It has been a few days since you all departed the large but sleepy city of Tyraxes, not known for its sort of vigorous nature, but instead for a long and steady history. You made your way out of Tyraxes and into the western wastes. After long days of traveling, you began to see the first sign that you were getting close to where you wanted to be, which is that one night, as you pulled to the side of the road and set up tents to camp for the night, you couldn't help but notice a faint cast of magenta light seeping all around you. This sort of light haze casting everything in the same unnatural, impossible hue. By the time you woke up the next morning and continued your journey, the light had become more and more and more intense. By the end of that day of travel, the light of the sun seemed almost dwarfed by this strange pink color, and off in the distance you could see the beam that was described to you lancing off into the night sky as you managed to sort of get around a deeper valley and move past a small chain of tall hills, the sort of children that maybe one day will be mountains. Now, following that beam into the distance, eventually you begin to see the distant outline of the town, I would say town, maybe a little larger than a village, the town of Twilight, off in the distance. The area surrounding it is a sparse shrubland. Small, thorny flora survive on next to no water alongside fauna like meerkats and small lizards. However, as you've gotten closer, strange tidings, blooms of flowers that should not be in this far-off wasteland that are that same uncanny magenta color of the beam in the sky, as if infecting the plants, blossom.
I guess I'll hop off the cart, kneel down by one of them, be like, "Oh, you look rather strange in this environment. Are you still feeling well, little plant?"
Are you using an ability, or are you doing a nature check?
The furball. Where's the?
Yeah, they have a net. Don't they have one of those, like a trait?
My question is,
Yeah,
I
speech
know
of
they can
each
speak.
beast and leaf.
I know they can speak to them. I don't know if the plant can speak back.
Yeah, they can understand your words, but you cannot understand them in return. You have advantage on all charisma checks to influence them, though.
What a wild ability that will almost never be useful.
As you reach out, a little thorny branch trails into your hand, grabbing the edge of your palm, weakly, barely able to squeeze.
They're there, little plant.
You can feel the intention in this with your cool ability to speak to plants. There's an infection in this place, something dark and dire.
Yeah, I got nothing. I don't have purify plant.
Quill,
So
No, me either.
you want me to kill it for you?
I mean, it seems like it has like a resilient spirit to it. Maybe if we destroy the source of whatever's plaguing this land, then these plants can grow rightfully again.
Yeah, deal. But if we get rid of that beam and we come back and this thing's still fucked up, I am gonna kill it.
Maybe give it a few days, though.
I don't know.
It would be an honorable death.
Yeah, see? He
bunch
knows.
of
I put my
Klingons.
ears over the leaves and just be like, "Don't listen to it." Don't
He
listen
can't
to it."
understand me. I don't have your ability.
You all inspired by the plight of this small thorny root, get back on your cart, pulled by. You guys, are you mule people? Are you donkey people? Are you horse people?
We're horse people. We're level 5. We're
on that-
horse people.
On that horse grind.
Ah,
You continue onwards. The sun sets as the city, as the town of Twilight grows larger in your vision, and you see all the lights of the town dim and dark. It's about 25, maybe 30 buildings, all completely shrouded in night and choked by these massive thorny growths. That little pink flower that had seemingly infected that plant, here you see it as a invasive rainforest choking the streets of the town. The only source of illumination you see is twofold. First, high at the top of the hill, surrounded by a thick stockade fence that would protect it from minor assaults, let alone a party of adventurers, is the observatory itself. Distant enough that you can't make out the details, but you see the pale color of stone and that beam of magenta light firing out of the large dome of the observatory itself. At the foot of that hill, near where you assume a gate would be, where the bottom of that hill meets the town, is an impressive, tall fire. Like a campfire, but easily 10, maybe 11 feet high at the top. This sort of signal fire, would obviously disturb the workings of the observatory on a normal day. Who knows if it is disturbing it now or not. That's the sole sign of life you see, but your choice is your own as to how you want to approach. How do you approach this situation?
considering it's been so overgrown, maybe they've been trying to burn back the excess growth. There's just been too much for them to kind of make any progress on.
That makes sense. I think we should probably approach the fire and see who might be tending it.
Do we know if this observatory is the home of anyone, or is it just research purposes?
Likely the scholars who work there would live within it.
Yes. So go ahead and make either a history check or a retroactive persuasion check to have done your research and asked around about the observatory.
All right. Nice. What were the two options?
History or persuasion?
Caught me mid-bite. Thank you, Spencer.
Yeah,
All
I'm
good.
covering.
So persuasion. That is a 22.
A 22. One or two key people live in the observatory. The headmaster of the observatory is a brilliant young wizard named Mishka Nerimus, who has upkept it for a long time despite their young age. They were appointed to the role at 22, the youngest high keeper the observatory has ever had. Alongside Mishka Nerimus, an older figure. Let me find the name very quickly. You know, nobody has a perfect memory, and sometimes when you're GMing, you gotta scroll a little bit. So for all those of you
That's
at home,
eventually
where else are
for
you
this
getting
game.
this kind of real, authentic? Yes, I have it. The other figure is the lens right of the great telescope, Thoman Plascade. Thoman is a much older man. He is the latest in a long line of lens rights that have cared for this telescope for its long history here. Everybody else sort of doesn't necessarily live within. They would maybe commute back and forth. Yes, we are playing D&D, to answer chat quickly. All right, so that's what you've learned. Do you still approach
All
the
right.
fire?
Yeah, I think that's still our best move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clear
as you
signs of life.
travel around, making your way across the outside of town, you can't help but see traces of movement out in those plants. Just little flickers, not enough to make you go off the path or anything, but enough to let you know that something is taking advantage of this newfound growth. As you approach the fire, you hear the distant sounds of combat. You hear the sounds of fighting and a couple of screams coming from the area where the fire is. I assume you approach all the faster.
Yeah, I draw my weapon and don my shield.
As you run up, you see three
My echo appears
haggard-looking...
beside me.
Oh, your echo whoom, appears. This sort of silvery illusion of burdock emerges in the space. As you look out at the fire, you see the silhouettes of combat, this tall fire casting dramatic shadows down across. You can see that this legion of pink vines and roots and a few strange, almost crystalline growths have come all the way up around, but seem to be almost kept at bay by the fire's light. They are sort of pushed back a fair bit. But your observational skills are much more occupied by the fight going on. You see three guards looking extremely haggard and tired, caught in a conflict with a couple of creatures. You see a large bramble of thickets, roots, and flowers that is whipping out with tendrils, attacking the guards. You see these two creatures like hydras, but smaller than that, like the size of a large dog, and not amalgams of snakes, amalgams of all kinds of creatures, of groundhogs and insects, small snakes, spiders that are just sort of stitched and ground together into these strange amalgams that are skittering across the ground, making good their attack. As you approach, one of those thickets plunges a viny arm out into the chest of one of these three guards, who falls to the ground, and you begin to watch him jerk and flail as this magenta pink color creeps up his neck through his veins, filling his face, until eventually it fills his eyes, replacing the whites and irises with just steady pink as he falls to the ground, a trickle of the same liquid sort of slowly pouring out of the side of his mouth. As you all approach, the other two guards throw their shields up and start to back up, clearly outgunned and hoping that you are here to help. Go ahead and roll initiative as you approach.
Boys, do we have some weird chimeras? All right.
They certainly look like weird chimeras.
10 for me.
All right, we got a 10 from Liar.
And I got a 19.
We We got a 19 from Burdock.
And a 5 from Quill.
And a 5.
I can't escape my curse, even with a different character.
You will never be liberated from your terrible initiatives. It's the truth. Oh my gosh. In my excitement to get our wonderful game started, I didn't get out any dice.
Who needs them? Just
Genius.
go with vibes.
Just say, no, that's actually weird. They rolled a 30 on their initiative. That's crazy.
I've been rolling nat 20s all night.
Let's see. We've got... Okay. So much to keep track of, so little time. Okie dokie. I am just throwing everybody in the order here. Up first, unsurprisingly, will be Burdock Branchbud. Burdock, you see this man fall to the ground, sort of this magenta color almost infecting him as he falls. It's your turn. What do you do?
All right, I'll just talk to the brambly creature and just be like, please bear with this foul corruption. We must stop you here from killing any others. And swing at it.
Absolutely.
And get a 9 to hit.
A 9 to hit
with
this
my halberd.
thorny creature. Unfortunately, you swing out at this thicket, and as you do, a bunch of these vines swing up like a shield, and you strike into the side of them ineffectively. You don't seem to damage the creature.
All right, and a 17 for the other one.
Absolutely. With 17 with the other one, you swing down, and this time you connect.
All right, that'll be 8 points of slashing damage.
8 points of slashing damage. As you cut down into it, however, it uses its reaction to use Tangle. We're going to see if this hits. As you cut down into it, does a 13 hit your AC?
No.
You'll manage to cut down, and you watch these vines immediately start to grow around the weapon, shooting up with unnatural speed, and you manage to pull back and free your weapon and stand back, avoiding whatever it is that this monster was about to do to you.
All right. And for a bonus action, I will, I guess as on the off swing, as I pull the halberd back, I'll take the hilt of it and just give it a jab against one of the larger branches.
Wow, yeah,
That'll
absolutely.
be a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Haven't had an Eldritch Knight in the mix in a while. You got a lot going
Or
on.
Polar Master.
Yeah.
For this part, the
Polar.
feat. So,
Fighter.
7 bludgeoning.
We haven't had a fighter in a while.
Ah, yeah. All right, so 7 bludgeoning damage for that.
7 bludgeoning damage. Oofa doofa. Alrighty. Couple of really good hits on this thing. This sort of branchy, thorny creature is starting to look a little hurt, beginning to skitter backwards, moving towards those two sort of chimeric creatures.
All right, and with my mind, just as a free action, I'll just tell my echo to kind of circle around. So my echo's in between me and the fallen guy. I guess maybe around 20 feet away from me.
Sure, your sort of mimicky silver creature kind of moves as you do, coincidentally and thankfully putting both of you between these creatures and those two guards that started to withdraw, seeing that they were outgunned. Absolutely. Up next, you watch as the injured guard, apparently as far as you were concerned, the dead guard that had fallen to the ground, begins to, in an unnatural way, you watch its neck snap up as it sits the rest of the way up, and moving in a gross, far too quick fashion, you watch this thing get up and skitter over to your illusion, to your echo, not knowing what its deal is. It attacks the closest thing to it. This poor guard has been turned into one of the stained. That is, oh, you're so lucky, an 8 to hit. I rolled terrible.
Oh. All right.
This thing tries to sprint up. What does your Echo Knight do to get out? Echo do to get out of the way?
I think it kind of just takes the halberd and sort of bonks it against one of the thighs of this thing and sort of redirects the momentum and sends it to tumble backwards a little bit.
Absolutely. It like slams into this thing, and this Stained is sent stumbling backwards down into the ground. Its arm shoots out back behind it in a way that would surely dislocate the shoulder of this man if he was still alive, but it doesn't seem to care as it catches itself and spins back up under so that it doesn't lose too much footing. That is its action, and it's definitely not going to disengage. Alrighty, up next is these sort of chimeric little creatures. Each of them, like I said, sort of the size of like a really large dog. One of them is going to jump out at you, Burdick, and the other one, looking at Lyre and Quill, is going to dash up to, I'm going to say Lyre. Burdick, that is, oof, very good roll, unfortunately. That's a 24 to hit.
Ooh, that would hit.
Yeah, I mean, I would certainly hope so. If you said no, I'd be like,
And
What
the
did you
one that... So what was the creature that just hit me too?
This is one of these little chimeric creatures.
Alright. I will use my Polar Mastery opportunity to strike it before it gets to me too.
Absolutely.
And 13 to hit.
13 will hit.
Alright.
Completely unarmored, not even particularly fast. It's not that hard to hit this sort of amalgamated creature as it dashes up to you.
Alright, so that'll be another 8 slashing.
Wow, love Polar Master, by the way.
Yeah.
6 points of damage to you, Burdick. As you slash out at this thing on its approach, it quickly overcomes across the side and begins to bury into the side of you with countless claws and teeth that protrude from it at odd angles.
You said 6 damage?
Yes.
Alright.
Okay. That is that one's turn. The second one, like I said, runs up to you, Lyre, Cold Snap, and goes for a hit. Rolls a natural 1. Straight fumbles. This thing skitters over to you, and you just rear back and kick it, and it falls down to the ground. Ineffective in its attempt. Oofa doofa. All right. It is now the plant creature's turn. The Hungering Thicket will use an action. It will attack. It is going to keep going after you, Burdick, because you are obviously the sort of biggest issue. It's going to use Tangle. That's an unnatural 20. I take it that hits.
Yeah, my AC is 16.
Absolutely. It hits you for 7 points of bludgeoning damage, and your speed is halved until the end of its next turn. As it doesn't attack you directly, maybe that's why it slips through your AC, it burrows its branches down into the ground, and you watch these, like, flowers with this strange color and some other thorns and these long spines jut out of the ground at odd angles, sticking up into your legs and slowing you down a little bit.
Me toes, they hurt.
Stop it! Alrighty. Up next in the initiative is Lyre Cold Snap.
Okay. Oh, what's the closest enemy to me?
The closest enemy to you is the crawling watcher that has just attacked you. One of these little chimeric bug creatures.
It was... Oh, I'll run up to it and do a quick little Eldritch Blast. Does a 19 hit?
19.
Or sorry, 15.
Yes, 15 definitely
15.
hits. A 19 would hit. These things don't seem to have any self-preservation in them at all.
Fair. That's what it is.
Like, as you're going to swing down on them, they're just not even getting out of the way. They're just continuing to try to, like, scramble up to you.
That's only 11 points of damage.
Oof, 11. That hurts.
And then it is pushed back because of a special thing of mine.
Very nice. Does it get pushed 5 feet, 10 feet? How far?
Finding that right now. 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay.
Wow.
You blast into this thing's chest as it runs up on you, and it boom, rolls backward, having already been sort of stunned when it rolled that fumble. It's trying to get back up on its feet, but clearly is very disoriented. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that is it.
Okay. Quill Rothic, looking out at the battlefield in front of you, one of these thickets and a watcher is sort of up in the combat with Burdock. Another of the watchers is attacking Lyre, and this Stained is trying to fight the Echo that Burdock has left behind. This is sort of the arrangement outside of you. You can see some commotion going on in the camp to your right. It seems like maybe they're going to have something they're ready to do in a moment, but for now it's your turn.
Quill looks at the scenario, grabs his holy symbol, and is covered in this green light. He has Shield of Faith cast upon himself.
Hell yeah, +2 AC, nothing to sniff at.
Yep. Launching forward, sword drawn, he lunges for the chimera that's attacking Lyre. And he uses both attacks. The lowest of them is a 21 to hit.
Awesome.
And it will be
The lowest? Wow. You guys are rolling really good.
17, 23 points of damage, and I am going to activate Divine Smite.
Oh, and I'm so sorry. Which of the creatures are you attacking right now? I totally missed it. I got too caught up in your rolls.
No, the chimera that's attacking Lyre.
Absolutely. Go ahead. That's a hard hit, my man.
I think it's just 2d6.
I think it's 2d8.
Oh, it is. It's
That's
been
that.
too long.
That's that system mastery rattling around in the old bean cage.
9 points of radiant damage.
Wow, so what's all that together?
It was 21 first, right? Did anybody hear me say that?
Yeah, I think so.
Plus 9, so 30.
You take this thing from a little injured, a little haggard from the fight to barely clinging. As you swing up, what's the weapon for this?
It's a longsword.
Longsword. As you swing up and slash down across the top of it, there is a blast of radiant light that sort of sends some of the people in the camp like blocking their eyes. As it pulls away, this thing is most of the way unmade. You can see where these like different creatures that are stitched together are sort of blast asunder, and you see where one of them, this sort of large spider type creature that is sort of stuck to it, is almost like trying to pull itself away from the rest of the amalgam, but can't quite seem to get it done. These things are truly unnatural, disgusting to Quill Rothic's sensibilities.
Be gone, creature, scourge, foul beast.
At the end of the initiative, you see a large, lumbering figure runs up next to the guards and goes, quickly, load your crossbows! And you watch them, like, pull as this figure directs them. They basically get to take a little layer action, and we are gonna see if they can manage to hit. They do. 2 bolts fire out. Unfortunately, they do not manage to hit the one that is now injured. The crawling watcher that is attacking Burdock takes a crossbow bolt, and the Stained attacking the Reflection also takes one of these crossbow bolts. They don't seem to hit particularly hard. These guys really don't seem well trained. But they are trying to support from the sidelines as best they can. Back at the top of initiative, next up is Burdock.
All right.
Trying to GM, keep an eye on the chat, make sure the stream's going, kind of slows you down a little bit.
I guess first I will bonus action Second Wind, as like little bits of like moss start growing from or exuding from the vines and covering up my wounds on my like legs and arms, and that'll give me 8 healing.
Nice.
And with that, I shake my head, gruff a little bit, and swing back at the big viney mass with 2 attacks. The lowest one is a dirty 20.
Hit.
All right. That'll be 13 damage
Wow, awesome.
and 14 damage.
Oofa doofa.
Nice job, Burdock.
Rah.
What does it look like as you slay this wicked, thorned, infected creature?
I think he does kind of like some arcing slashes that start sending like briars like wisping into the wind and like that's like sort of stirred up by the bonfire, and then he sort of like cuts it like 2 more times and it just sort of like shambles into like a small pile. It's like, well, we've got to start for a compost heap here.
Fabulous.
Fucking FEMA attacks.
You go full lawnmower and take this thing out. Fabulous, fabulous. Okay. That gives you your bonus action and your movement if you wanted to do anything else.
Yeah, or use bonus action already for second wind. So
Okay.
I guess my I'll just tell my Echo Knight to sort of menace the other zombie plant thingy, and it'll just sort of like twirl its halberd and yeah.
It's deeply funny. I love that. All right. Cool. Up next is that creature. The stained didn't manage to connect last time, and so is it going to be able to hit this? I don't know this about echoes. Is it like able to hit it, or is it going to just like pass through?
Yeah, it has 17 AC, 1 hit point, immunity all to conditions, and it has my saving throws.
Oh, so it can, if this thing hits it, it will like poof, it'll disappear.
Yeah.
Okay, then it
Wow.
will try to hit it again. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just passing through it and getting frustrated. Instead, it is sort of trying to land this attack.
Yeah, and when I created, I guess it does say, I think, something about it like taking up the space that it's in.
Absolutely. You watch this creature trying to attack.
Occupies.
It almost seems like when it first went after it, it did that charge, building up all that momentum and almost sort of striking ahead into it. You see that now that it's stuck in the melee with your Echo, it seems to be having trouble like getting the amount of force behind its blows that it wants to. It seems to really want to be dashing across a field to attack something, sort of like a rhino, rather than stuck like this. And in line with my role play, that is only a 10 to hit. This thing doesn't seem to be able to connect. Its hits are very limp and very weak and a little slow. Okay. Up next are these 2 crawling watchers. One of them, in a last-ditch effort for survival, Quill, is going to attack you. It is going to use its special attack, Pyrrhic Assault.
No.
That is an 18 to hit.
Does not hit.
That doesn't hit. No. It fails. Trying to dash out. You see this thing slams. Do you block it with your shield or do you step out of the way?
As it launches, I block with the shield. I don't want it getting past me.
You block it with the shield and are surprised to feel it absolutely rocket into the shield. Much harder than the hit that it just tried to do. You're sort of almost sent sort of skittering back, but you hear a horrible crack and see blood start to leak out of the front of this creature's arm. But regardless of that, what it did not work, so it doesn't much matter that it tried to do that. Burdick, the one near you, does something very similar, not quite the same composition. This one leaps up towards your chest, also sort of foregoing any sense of self to try to hit you. That's an incredible roll. It's a 25. Oh my goodness.
Oof. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's already within my attack range, so I can't react
Absolutely.
to it.
You see something, the same thing happen. You take a huge hit. This thing launches into your chest with unbelievable speed. You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage as this thing slams into you. But you hear a symphony of creaks and cracks and tearing sounds as blood gushes out of the side of this creature. You see it takes half the damage it tried to do to you. It takes 6 points of damage. Burdick, looking a little worse for wear, I imagine, is locked in combat with this strange thing All right. That is their turns. They really... Okay, let me double check there. Good. Okay. That creature is dead, so does not have a turn in initiative. Up next is Liar.
All right. I'm cool where I'm at. I'm just slinging my Eldritch Blast. I didn't see it at first. I actually had 2 bolts that I could use in that,
Nice.
which is nice. Nice to know now. So I am swinging. Well, I'm casting at. Is there any like big guy that we haven't hit yet?
Yeah, so the Stained has only taken a little bit of damage. That's this strange risen thing that is attacking the Echo. The 2 Watchers, both are damaged. One of them, the one that Quill is in combat with, is barely clinging to life. That thing's gonna die any minute.
I'll smack the Stained my first hit. Does a 16 hit?
Does a 16 hit? It's a little closer. Yes, that does hit the Stained.
All right. Gonna be 3, so 7 points of force damage.
7 points of force damage. Okay.
And gets knocked back. Does the Echo get a reaction hit while it gets blasted back?
No, it has to be willing movement
Okay.
to
Oh,
set
good.
that off. So this Stained is blasted in the chest and sent falling backwards onto the ground, taking that hit.
Second one is going for him again. And that is going to be 11 plus 6, so a 17 to hit.
Hits, roll damage.
That is 9 plus 3, so 12 points of damage.
12 points
And
of
it's
damage.
knocked back again.
Just an absolute ragdoll. This thing gets blasted and then blasted again, continuing to tumble backwards, looking worse and worse and worse as you continue. You said 11 points of damage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just trying to keep all my math straight at the
Oh,
same
yep,
time.
yep.
Absolutely. So that's your turn. This the tides of this combat are quickly turning. You guys have definitely gotten the upper hand here. Quill, you're up. You're locked in combat with this mostly dead thing. You see a couple of these other combatants. What do you do?
I swing at the one in front of me first, and that is a dirty 20 to hit.
Hits, roll damage. Almost certainly this is the end of this little rat thing.
9 points of damage.
9 points of damage. You stab down into it with your long sword, and it quivers and contracts, and then slackens, dead.
And then I'm gonna run. How far away is Burdock and his combatant from me?
Very close. You guys interrupted this other fight, so everything was really tightly grouped. So it's only about 10 feet of movement for you to sort of dash ahead over to where Burdock is.
Does a 13 hit that combatant?
Does a 13 hit the Stained? You going for the Stained or for the thing on the ground?
The thing on the ground, the one that Burdock was fighting.
Yeah, the crawling, the crawling Watcher. You run up, and that would hit again. This thing is just unconcerned with its own autonomous, not autonomy, with its own vitality.
That is max damage at 11 points. And I am gonna burn another Divine Smite.
Wow, all right.
I feel like Burdock has gotten hit a couple times too many. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, I mean, Burdock, you ran right up into it. It was a lot of good rolls that got it done. You've got a pretty decent AC on you.
14 points of damage for that.
Absolutely blasts it. You strike this thing down. As this divine light courses through it, you watch as all of these connecting points where these creatures have been fused together, this divine light slams through and cuts away all of that and leaves these creatures suddenly sundered and separated, but many of them it doesn't regenerate the parts that have fused, so most of them immediately perish as they sort of lose whatever unnatural life it was that gives into them. But that one spider creature skitters off, having been barely connected. It survives, and you're like, ooh. I don't know how Quill feels about that.
All right, how you feeling, Burdock?
Still standing here, and my Echo is stalwart as ever.
The only
Alright.
remaining threat is this injured Stained.
Get 'em, boys.
Same figure again yells, "Reload! Fire!" And they fire their crossbows again. That is, they get to make 2 shots. Both shots hit. This might be the fight.
I used Inspiring Leader, a feat I don't have.
No, it's great. It has a smidgen, it has a dash of health left. This Stained creature continues to shamble forward, trying to launch itself at this Echo. It seems totally unaware that this Echo is not a real being. Burdock, you're up.
All right. I will get within, I guess, 10 feet of the thing, kind of like to the side of my Echo and swing down
Absolutely.
twice against this Stained.
Well, we'll see.
Ooh. Well, that one and
So 2.
13.
That one and a 13, neither strike hits. This creature is so quick and frenetic in its movements that you just can't get a hit in. As you swing down, it dodges to the side out of the way, and as you stab forward, you're expecting it to panic the way that a person would do, try to back up, and maybe you could get the advantage. But instead, it dodges down and forwards under your sword and then stands up.
All right. And bonus action.
Under your
with
sword, you have a
6
Polearm, right?
halberd.
So it ducks under
Yeah.
your halberd, my bad.
Yeah. So will a 16 hit?
A 16 does hit. Dashing forward
All right.
was a mistake as you crack down
Yeah,
with the
just-
heel of the halberd into its head.
That'll be. I think. Does Great Weapon Master count for the bonus as well?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, I think so.
Same weapon.
All right. Cool. Aha. 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
7? All right. You do it. As you rear up and crack down into the skull of this creature, you split its head. This thing falls to the ground, head cracked like an egg onto the ground. And our combat comes to a tense end. You watch those 2 guards sprint forward. At first you think up to Burdock, and then past him they say, "Quickly, out of the way!" And one of them grabs the body by the feet. The other one grabs it by the arms, and they dash over to that big bonfire with this body. And sure enough, as they are running, you see this thing start to like snap and break as they toss it onto the fire. It begins to burn and dissipate, and the Stained stays dead. That's the end of our combat.
Would we mind terribly if we take a quick 5?
Not at all. You see that large figure running up. He goes, "Thank you for coming. My name is Amal Brethren. I am the blacksmith of town." And then we're going to take 5. I'm going to go stream starting soon. Watchers now and in the future. Back in 5.
All right.
And we're back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. First combat out of the way. Arrival in the town of Twilight taken care of. Our party has now been approached by Amal Brethwin, apparently the blacksmith for the town of Twilight. Panting heavily, Amal is a heavy-set man looking very tired with deep bags under his eyes, sort of managing to get a little bit of his energy up. He goes, "Thank you so much for helping. We've lost a lot already, and you've saved those two men as sure as anything. Thank you so much. Are you... What brings you... Are you here to... with the observatory? What brings you here?"
Well, we were sent on a quest to discover what's been going on here. I'll refer you to my other allies here, but that's essentially what we're doing. We're going to be heading to the observatory post-haste.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, come with me and we can tell you what we know. Me and Valos Lemning is the innkeeper and mayor in town. We can share with you what we know and see if maybe we can scrounge together some supplies to help you. If you're really here to solve this, you are a blessing in this moment. Come with me. And he sort of walks you into this ring of tents. You see that fire, and the smell of it is unfortunately quite unpleasant. This heavy, acrid smell, not the comforting smells of wood smoke. Although there is a decent amount of sort of logs and timber thrown on, you can see that sort of jammed between, like the mortar of a great wall, are dead bodies. All of them stained that magenta color, along with a couple of other bits and bobs and some of the flora that has been growing around. As those creatures die and you move in, you see a couple of the townspeople light torches and begin to walk out and very carefully look at the ground surrounding the camp. And a few places you see them sort of stab down with those torches, burning any of that magenta that grows too close.
See, Burdock, I told you.
You walk up and see. You walk up and you see a half-elven. You see a half-elven woman who is sort of talking to a couple of people while somebody else is like bandaging a wound that is happening, that somebody seems to have sustained. They stand up and this half-elf woman says, "Hello, my name's Valos Lemning. I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor of this town. Are you here to... Are you here? Hello? Sorry. Are you... the GM stuff froze for a minute.
Oh, no.
Stream looks fine. Okay. She goes, "I'm so sorry. I think I just had a little brown out there. That was weird. Does anyone else smell toast?" "No, I'm fine. It's okay. My name is Valos Lemning. I'm the mayor of Twilight and the innkeeper in town. The blacksmith said that he saw somebody riding up. We didn't think we'd be so lucky that you'd be adventurers. We thought it was another caravan that hadn't been turned around. Are you here to help with what's going on?"
It feels like we are. My patron kind of pointed me in this direction, and they haven't pointed me in the wrong direction yet.
And we were hired by a magister to investigate.
The Magisters? Well, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. I guess they would have sort of an interest. Okay, yes.
Yeah, they did say.
Welcome. Please sit down. Catch your breath around. Well, not too close to the fire. The smell will give you a headache if you sit too close. Come over to the tents and sit down a spell. We can tell you what we know. I'm so sorry I interrupted you though. Furbolg,
No
what
problem.
were you going to say?
Yes, it does seem like the strange magics here are preventing the Magister from either scrying or teleporting people in. So, I guess apologies that they haven't sent help sooner.
Honestly, we didn't even know if anybody knew what was going on. I mean, other than, and she points to the sky, which is illuminated with this magenta light. She goes, other than the light, anybody we've sent out, we've assumed hasn't made it. We haven't been able to get anything. We have a few people that can, do some small spellcraft, and nothing seems to be able to make their way in or out of this place, even the items that some of us have. And you see that sort of off in the corner, there's an older looking gentleman who has this like pendant with a face on it that you would know to be one of these like an amulet of sending that he is trying. He's like keeps fiddling with it, and you can see that one of these other people who probably just has a couple of cantrips is like trying to fiddle with it, and to no avail. She goes, "Me and Amol made our way up the hill. At first, when this happened, we immediately went up to try to ask them what it was that was going on, and the guards insisted that there was nothing going on. We asked them about the light. They said it was a natural phenomena of a spell, so we came back down, and then when the creatures came, we tried to go back up, and they ran us off. They bared
Question.
weapons and ran us down the hill and told us not to return. So we barricaded this and lit the bonfire, hoping that maybe we could stop whatever was going on. But I don't know if it stopped it or slowed it or had any effect at all.
So when the creatures came, then also the briars that took over the town also emerged from the observatory?
Strangely, not from the observatory, from the area, like from the surrounding, as if they were encroaching on us. There are some, if you look, she points back, and if you sort of squint, you can see that, she goes, there's a garden around the observatory, and you can sort of see what she's pointing to. And that seems to be choked with the plants as well. We're not sure why the fence area, maybe they're trying to not look suspicious. That suggests an intelligence that makes some of the younger folk a little uncomfortable, but I think is likely.
And the guards that ran you off, did you recognize them from previous guard work at the observatory? Were they new?
I mean, they weren't new, but the observatory guards are their own people. They stay there. I don't know them at all for the most part. I mean, they would come down into town every now and again for supplies or food or maybe a few drinks. Sometimes they would stay at the inn. But most of the time, it seemed like some of them even commuted all the way back to Taraxes in the interim. I mean, it's a few days' journey, but
that wasn't your first time seeing those guards that ran you off. They'd been there before.
They were all in helmets.
Okay.
I couldn't even tell you.
Got it.
There was 4. There were 2 that stood out to the front, and then 2 who were shoulder to shoulder, standing directly in front of the door. When we came up the first time, they just dismissed us. The second time, the 2 that were in the front chased us and ran us off down the hill.
I'm wondering if maybe a third party's come in and taken over under the guise of the old guard.
I don't know. Their visits... So let me tell you, so that's the majority of what we know. The only other thing that I can tell you is frequently they would, the workers of the lighthouse, many of them lived in town, and we would speak to them and see them. Starting a few weeks ago, they would spend longer times there, a couple of days at a time. And then eventually they just stopped returning. They stopped coming back down. No one's seen the headmaster, Mishka Narimus. Nobody's seen him in a month. As if he's just cooped up in there like some mad wizard in a tower.
As they are wont to do with their strange magics.
It's been... Like I said, we've sent people out, and then when we send out scouts to check on their path, we either don't find them or, and she sort of gestures over to the fire where you see that stained burning, we find them like that.
Have you... when you encountered the guards before, did they seem to have similar jerky motions like the stained? Or did they seem more kind of like under the control of their own faculties?
I'm going to roll a perception check for Valos. Valos rolled very well. Valos goes, yes, the 2 standing shoulder to shoulder at the back were moving strangely. I didn't pick up on it at the time, but they did seem to be moving on. And Amol, the blacksmith, goes, and the 2 that chased us, they were a little too fast for men in plate. They were moving at a good... you can run in armor, but they were moving fast. Faster than I would have anticipated someone being able to. And they were in plate. The heavy stuff.
Yeah, like this stuff.
Well, yes.
Or plate, yeah. Heavy armor, but much stronger, yes.
I understood what
Well-
you meant. You're fine. Yeah, so that's what we know now.
I would recommend keeping your eyes off of the beam, just in case it has some sort of mind-altering capability, if at all possible.
Certainly. Yes, that's a good idea. We've been trying to avoid its influence as much as we can. Sleeping, people have been fraught with strange dreams. It's been difficult, but okay. we did save one moment. And Valos turns and dashes back into this large tent as Amol sort of tends to your armor, whatever little scratches and scuffs that they have. Amol sort of takes care of a few things while you wait. And Valos comes back with like a wooden milk crate clinking with a couple of glass bottles. She goes, I managed to grab a couple of things out of the inn before the roots choked it too badly. We figured we were going to end up using them ourselves if we ended up having to try to kill those guards. But you all, to be perfectly frank, I know it is maybe cruel to ask you to risk yourselves like this, but we have no chance compared to you. And she hands you a crate that has 3 potions of healing and a jar of alchemist's fire.
Ooh.
Inside.
I would never turn away from a sickness like this upon the land, so fear not. I'll be going in.
Indeed. And what you did say about them not looking at the light, the plants here do, of course, seem to be drawn to it. So maybe they've been kind of like much more susceptible to it.
I don't know. They've been burnt. We've been burning them back as best we can. It's just, it seems like the plants at the observatory don't creep down here, but that these ones are trying to get up. We keep having to burn them back endlessly. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. It might not even be important. I don't know. We've been cracking our brains trying to solve something, but it's too busy just trying to stitch together food.
And did the big plant monsters then come from the village instead of from the observatory?
From all over. We've been seeing them. They hide in those strange. And she points at, you see, like I said, it's this like low hung jungle. And she goes, we can barely see them approach until they've already arrived. They seem to take advantage of the strange sort of alien landscape of it all.
All right. Well, I don't believe I have anything else. I'm ready to go forward.
That's all I know.
Good.
I have one question for the DM. At what point does the sky turn violet? Like, how close do we have to get the sky to be this magenta sort of color?
About a mile.
Okay.
When you got within about a mile, so you could sort of see it like the cast of a flashlight. The sky was it started to be more powerful than the sun during the day when you got within 1 mile of the town of Twilight.
Okay.
All right. Onwards then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. As you turn and run up.
Check out.
And you guys can mark a short rest.
Nice.
You had time to talk, chat, get those potions, and be on your way.
Really kicking myself for not using the Accent Surge in the big fight.
That's okay. You
Next
can't see
time.
the future.
Unless I level up and get a feat.
Unless I level up? Yeah, exactly. Okay. You guys begin to head up this road. It is you see that they have barricaded the gate shut. A few of them travel out with you and move a couple of things out of the way, dragging a large wagon that they've laid so that you can step through the fence and over to the other side. Thankfully, it's high enough that those guards, whatever they are, probably didn't hear this. So you're going to have options as you approach. What were you about to say?
I light a torch.
Yeah.
Before continuing forward.
You spark a torch and it flares to life.
Is anybody not wielding a weapon with 2 hands or holding a shield?
And I mean, my weapon that I can conjure can be anything I want.
Then I would appreciate it if you held this, because I'm otherwise occupied with my weapons.
Sure.
All right. Burn anything that seems fucked up.
Gladly.
All right. As you light those torches and move up the road, you see a once beautiful ornamental garden now choked with unnatural flowers and plants. Some seem to writhe as if alive, searching through the ground like they're trying to get a hold of something. In other areas, you see these large closed versions of those magenta flowers that every few moments unravel and spores fill the air around them. What's the highest passive perception in the party?
12 here.
12,
13.
13,
10.
10. So it would be Quill with a 13 who notices near those blooms are a couple of are some bodies. Some dead bodies, not ripped apart, not sort of like terribly lacerated, but in like the fetal position, as if they walked into the garden and just laid down on the ground. Up the hill in front of you, you can see the observatory starting to come into detail. 2 sprawling wings out to either side, and at the center, a massive glass dome reinforced with metal beams. You see that lance of light launching up into the sky, and you can faintly see a brazier of light, probably a fire, and a little bit of a glint. You get the sense that you're seeing the plate armor of a couple of guards. So that's your situation. You're sort of still by this garden. You see the guards up ahead of you. You're surrounded by this. The wings of the observatory go out to the left and right of the building in front of you. What do you all do?
Can I use the plants that are kind of growing around those bodies? Can I use my druidcraft to see if any of the seed pods can open on them to sort of see how they're growing?
Are you talking about those ones that let the spores out?
Yeah. If they have any seed pods too?
You attempt to as you try to reach out. These are not plants anymore. You fail to connect to whatever it is that they are now.
Very strange and alien indeed, then.
Don't breathe that in.
Mm-hmm.
Should I burn them?
No, because that would give away our position. We gotta burn stuff that we're combating, I think. Alright. We know that there's 4 guards up ahead. We don't know what's in this garden, this brush. My vote would be to go for what we know, which is 4 guards.
Yeah. Seems like they've definitely relinquished their duty as actually guarding. Or just kind of curmudgeoning up there.
Here's what I think. I'm going to approach. If you want to hide out in the brush here, I will go up. They will chase me off. You 2 leap out from the brush and attack after they get past you.
All right.
Sounds good.
Good.
Okay, you guys begin to approach forwards. As you do, is someone trying to stealth, or are they just sort of moving in a little bit of a different way?
Those 2 are going to stealth by being in the brush on the roadway. I'm walking right up to ensnare them.
So Burdick and Liar, go ahead and make some stealth rolls. I'll be up front. We're looking for a 14.
Well, that's a 7.
A 7 and a 12? Quill.
Let's see, I have 18 plus
Whoa!
3, so 21.
Oh, I thought I heard you say 12. Absolutely not. Okay.
Me too.
With that 21. Oh, gosh. I kind of need a tiebreaker here. Quill, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check to tiebreak. See if you pull enough attention. That's the kind of on-the-fly DMing you gotta have.
13 plus 2, 15.
13 plus 2, 15 will do it. Just barely over, you hear Burdick sort of stumble and make quite a bit of noise, and you of puff up your chest and hold your torch a little higher and manage to grab a little bit of extra attention and take the pressure off of your companion. Liar and Burdick, you move around the outside, flanking them like velociraptors in Jurassic Park. As Quill, you walk right up the center. As you do, you see that as you get to the edge of the garden, you see the figure of a guard in plate armor, curled up next to one of these flowers, still moving a little, as if it is a recent addition. As you continue past up, you do not see 4 guards, you see 3. You see 2 standing in front of the door, and you see 1 more with a spear in its hands. Sorry, wait a minute. With a long sword in its hands, staring off. No shield in the opposite, just a long sword, the other hand empty. And it goes, Who goes there?
Hail, guard. My name is Quill Rothick. I'm an adventurer sent by a magister to investigate the goings-on here.
There's nothing for you here, adventurer. This place is safe. We have fought off these vines and are keeping them at bay ourselves. Your services would be better spent in the town.
Well, I would like to approve that with my own eyes, so I'll be entering now.
Do you continue to move forward?
Yeah, I continue moving forward.
Okay, as you continue to move forward, and I assume Liar and Burdock continue to flank, you see the guard takes a little step back, moving towards that brazier behind it. It seems to be sort of keeping the light behind it so that you're just seeing the sort of dark cast of his face. As he takes a step back, he yells one more time, "If you approach again, you will be trespassing! I will be forced to attack you!"
I am on official orders from the Magisters. You are going against the law here, not I.
Don't. Damn this! And you watch as that guard steps back and puts that sword up in like a dueling stance, and the other one behind him takes. You see the two guards behind him both take up spears. Everybody, go ahead, roll initiative. Two of you are hidden though, and we'll get a surprise round.
Dirty 20.
10.
9. Come the fuck on.
Dude, you are, can I say something? You have such good luck everywhere else in your life. Just initiative.
Gotta get burned on one thing, you know?
Liar, you were the 10?
No, I was
That was
dirty
me.
20.
Okay, great. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
It's not like the two of you sound similar. It's just
Oh no.
a little too much. A little too much going on there. Okay.
My favorite thing about running this game is it's been so long that I don't remember any of the encounters that we might be finding here.
I appreciate that. That's what I was hoping. I was worried that you were going to be like, go to the left, go through the window. The
No.
password to the door is 1957.
I skimmed it previously to make sure that it all like looked properly laid out, but purposefully didn't read any of the details.
Absolutely love that. Up first in the initiative, with this, these guys are surprised, so you will have advantage on any attacks you make. It's Liar Cold Snap.
All right. So we got.
So you have these two
It's
figures.
3 enemies, right? Oh, two in front of us.
Well, you have 3, but 2 of them are sort of kind of back a little bit. So yeah, you could probably hit either of them. So you've got 3. You've got 1 in the front, 2 in the back. My bullet physics were a little off.
That's all good. I'll just use the Eldritch Blast on 2 different enemies.
Great.
So advantage on this one. All right, so 16 plus 6, so 22 to hit.
All right, who's that going for?
Guy on the left.
Okay. That definitely hits. Go ahead and can you imagine if I was like, nah, man, 22, too low, idiot. No, yeah, 22 hits.
That's 9 points of damage, and he's blasted forward.
You fire off at the guard, the sort of rear guard on the left, striking into it. This blast comes seemingly out of nowhere, and you watch as the 2 guards are both sent slamming into the back, and as they go to pull themselves separate, you see that the one arm of the guard is actually fused into the front of the metal of the other, and the one's leg bends around and fuses into the leg of the other. I misspoke earlier. There are only 2 enemies in this combat, as this large amalgam of 2 men is blown back into the stone wall.
All right. Well, it ain't broke. I'm swinging at the guy on the amalgam piece on the right now.
There you go. One of us always tells a lie. The singer goes, I'm the one telling the truth. This doesn't hurt.
And that's gonna be plus 6.
Sometime in the
17
future,
to
somebody
hit.
watching this VOD is going to be like, "That was a funny joke."
Oh.
All right, go ahead. What's the to hit on that?
16.
16 scooches by the AC of this bad boy.
All right. That is going to be 9 plus 3, so 12 points of damage.
Great, super good. Okay. Oh no, I'm doing math. No. All right. That is that your turn? Sorry.
That is my turn.
Great. That is Liar's turn. You are sort of staying off in the shadows, blasting out with these 2 hits. Up next would be the Warped, this fused creature, but it is surprised, and it loses the surprised condition. Up next is this guard in the front. It loses the surprised condition. Burdick, you're up. These creatures are no longer surprised, so unfortunately you will not have advantage. But you do still get this sort of free round.
Yeah, and how far away are they?
Word Theater of the Mind right now, completely up to you. How close did you get?
All right. I guess if I'm within...
They're about
30.
5 feet off the ground. They're on a little landing with some stairs going down. So they're like 5 feet up. So you said 30? Or do you want to run right up?
Yeah, I guess I'd run up to the fused guy, considering it's like the more amalgam fearsome thing.
Yeah, so out of the darkness, this furball just launches up at the Warped. They're not surprised because they hear the footsteps, but they still are on their sort of back foot, reacting to you rather than the other way around.
Yeah, so I guess I'll get like 10 feet away from them and swing out twice with my halberd.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Whistling through the air.
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, the highest one was an 11.
The highest one was an 11. That absolutely is not going to hit. Can somebody else please run into Music Bot and see if you can
I don't
see
think we can. I'll see if I can.
I'm going to go give it a try, and then I'll go stream starting soon, and...
Yeah, I don't have the permission.
3 votes required.
What?
Get in there. Get in the comments.
Michael and Stefan, if you both do it. We're
Michael,
good.
vote to skip, please.
I would actually flavor this one as Fearbold war music, and I think that makes sense.
That's fair. As you charge ahead, you attempt to slash out twice and can't get a hit off. Despite its huge, its large form, it's still pretty heavily armored. And so you are sort of like banging off of the metal that it has on the exterior of it. Yeah. You can see where blood is like slowly seeping out of some parts of this creature's form. What do you do?
Yeah, I sort of, seeing its like weird amalgamness, I'm just like, ugh, and I use my bonus action to swap places with my, with my echo. And so like, I'm like looking at it and then all of a sudden I just become gray and translucent to it as I'm like standing there with the halberd. And
deeply funny to hit him with the yucky and switch like that. That's great. Okay. I'm not keeping track of my initiative very well over here. Sorry about that, boys. And they lost the surprise condition. So I think, Quill, you would actually get this turn because you're not surprised.
Cool.
So you don't get the advantage. That's one rule. That, can I tell you guys? Read it 5 times. I think I wrote an article about it once. Still don't really understand surprise.
So confusing. I rolled both of my attacks already, and my lowest was a 17, and I'm attacking the dude with the sword.
Those both hit. Again, a little close. This dude is heavily armored. You can see as you swing. It's strange. If he wasn't, you can see as now that you're close to him, where some of these plates of metal bend in to the flesh of his arms and his elbow, probably accounting for some of the speed. But it does make him a little less defended than he was if he was in full plate. So those attacks do sneak by.
And that is a total of 17 points of damage.
Okay. Pretty huge hits. He's not looking bloody, but definitely feels that. As you strike down, you see the one arm grow a little limp, and it goes to, like, stitch closed, but this, like, twist of metal and flesh can't really corroborate well, and so it just ends up leaking more blood down his arm. Okay. That's your turn?
That's it.
So you're up in the melee now, too. So pretty much everybody except Liar is sort of up in the tussle. Liar's a couple feet back, firing off those Eldritch Blasts. We're back at the top of initiative. Liar, Cold Snap, you are still up.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Change up a little bit.
Eldritch Blast, maybe.
Maybe. No, I'm going Frostbite this time. Yeah, Frostbite. My teammates are a tad bit of trouble at the moment. So it's going to be a con save of 14. I'm going to try to swing at try and smack the non-amalgamed one.
Nice. My delightful partner is baking some kind of dessert in the other room, and it's
Mm.
taking all of my being to not, like a cartoon dog, just sort of float in the air in that direction right now. Okay, go ahead and roll for that. Or am I saving?
14 con save, yeah.
14 con. Okay. Great. 6. Terrible roll.
Pretty bad.
So it is going to take 2d6. Alright, it's going to take 10 frost damage, and it has disadvantage on its next attack roll.
Huge. Absolutely love it. Okay. All right. Up next in the initiative is the Warped. This conglomerate of two beings turns its attention to Burdick Branchbud. 1 second.
To me or my echo?
Oh, to your Echo. Interesting.
Yeah, you swap places. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I mean, the Echo doesn't look particularly real. This guy's intelligent. Are you within...
30 feet away from him. Or 40 feet away from that thingy, but 30 feet away from my echo.
It doesn't... There's no... I'm not gonna... I'm gonna resist the GM temptation to metagame. This thing doesn't know you're an Echo Knight. It thinks it's an illusion. It turns its attention to Quill, actually, in this case, then. Quill.
Come on!
I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Honestly,
Wait, is it-
all things considered.
Wait, is it running over to Quill, or...
It doesn't need to move to do this.
Ah, okay.
12.
12. That's a fail. Quill, you watch as one of the guard's helmet is this sort of like large two-piece kind of thing where you could like lift the visor. You watch as the visor lifts, connected to sort of like the flesh of this thing's face, and this bright light blasts out at you.
Abomination!
Go ahead and roll me 1d6 and let me know what the result of that check is.
3.
A 3. You feel a terrible pain in your hand, and as you look down, you see that one of your fingers is starting to fuse to the one next to it, and is bending at an unnatural angle. You have disadvantage on attacks until the end of the Warped's next turn.
Ooh. I raise my sword and I cut my hand off.
It then uses Stalwart, and as a bonus action, you watch as that same light is cast on the soldier you're in combat with, and its arm holding the sword begins to like grow unnatural extra muscles as it holds the sword out. What were you about to say? I saw you go.
That's it. You?
Oh,
Your
there you
vile
go.
magics will do nothing to me.
There we go. There's that genre fiction. I'm getting. You know what? Take a point of inspiration. Way to be high fantasy. Love it.
Thank you. Fadia, baby. We're in it.
Fadia. It's so very interesting. Up next is the creature that you are in combat with, Quill. It's going to swing out at you. It has 1d4 that it gets to add because of that ally, but it also has disadvantage. So we're going to see how that shakes out. Bad start. Worst finish. Let's see what I get to add. I rolled a 1 on the d4.
Oof.
Come on. Does it 10 hit?
Not quite. Not
10.
quite there.
Damn it. This thing tries to swing out with this longsword, crushing down, and you manage to sort of easily slam it out of the way with your shield. Damn it. It doesn't really have a bonus action worth doing, so that is the fused. I've given away the name. So this is the Warped, is that amalgam of two. The fused is this knight fused to his armor in front. All right. Up next,
What's
Burdick
nice about
Branchbud.
homebrew monsters is it's not like we can Google them. It
Yeah.
can be named anything.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice, yeah. Yeah, you don't get a lot of intel from the Warped and the Fused.
Yeah. It's like when I gave
Alright.
you guys the
Oh,
husks.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Husk, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, it's husk-esque.
I was trying. It was so funny. We were playing. So, for those of you watching in the future, if you tune into the stream normally, you'll know this. They were fighting this like invisible creature in water, and you said stalker a couple times, and I wasn't there, and I was like, it would have been so hard for me to not be a huge jerk.
I know
about
what it
that.
is.
Oh my god,
Okay.
that's crazy. Look
Yeah,
at footprints.
Sorry. So yeah, my Echo looks at this like strange thing and it picks up its halberd and it's going to take 2 attacks.
Oh great. Is this Unleash Echo, right?
Or when you take the attack action on your turn, any attack you make with that action can originate from your space or from the Echo space.
Yeah.
You make the choice for each
Familiar.
attack.
Sweet.
Cool.
It rolled a little bit better. Does a 16 hit?
A 16 is the AC. That
Nice.
hits.
All right. Great. So both of the halberd attacks will hit.
Oh, actually, wait. You're attacking the warped. It is. You are one above. The AC of the warped is 15.
No wait, the fuse is no wait. The,
All right,
the 2 that are
you
one.
did this to
The
yourself.
2 that are 1.
The fused is fused to his armor. The warped,
Yeah, the warped-
have been warped
okay.
together.
All right. So that's 21 damage to the warped. If that has 16 AC.
Holy shit! Yeah,
Cut him in half.
absolutely. Horrific slash down the front of the warped. You cut a deep gash across the chest of these 2 forms that as they begin to try to like grab at it to press down, you see they are beginning to like slacken as they are starting to like lose control of their nerves a little bit.
All right. And I guess that shimmery kind of echo is like in my halberd as I move. I guess I'll move up to the fused, the one near our paladin, and I will
Yes.
attack it with my back of the pole arm.
Oh, that's
And that's
cool.
a 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits. Gotta say, really powerful combination. That Echo Knight mixed with Polar Masters, real nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's 7 bludgeoning.
7 bludgeoning, huge. Every little, every bit helps. Continuing to just like hammer away at these creatures. Yeah,
And I
I
guess
had a
I'll just-
reaction I could have used. I missed it. I'm not gonna retcon. I'm gonna be a
Aw.
fair and charitable GM. Absolutely. Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, actions and bonus actions gone.
Great. Can't believe I forgot that. All right. Up next, Quill Rothic.
I pre-rolled. It is a 17 to hit the fused,
Wow.
and an 8 to hit the fused.
That
That one's not gonna hit.
Did you do the disadvantage on that?
I didn't. Let me roll the other one. Even better. So 17 still stands.
Fabulous. Love that. Okay. So that's 17 still. That 17 will hit.
8 points of damage. I am gonna burn a divine smite in an attempt to get this done with quick.
Okay. You got good odds.
11 more points of damage.
Jeez, by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah.
You manage to. All of a sudden, this really does turn into a just straight, like. The two of you oddly match longsword and shield versus longsword and sort of a duelist stance. Like managing to parry off. Eventually, you cut down on the arm. He falls slacken, and you stab down in the plates, in the space between 2 plates. And this knight falls, and then falls the rest of the way forward, dead as disco.
The natural will always win.
It's so funny to play an Oath of Ancients paladin who's incredibly militaristic. I love that. Okay, that's your action. Bonus action movement. Anything there?
I'm gonna use my movement to get up with the warped,
Great.
just right in its face.
At the end of your turn, your hand returns to normal. Great. Okie doke. That is your turn. Back up at the top of initiative, Liar, Cold Snap. The fused guard has been destroyed. This warped amalgam creature's looking hurt. What do you do?
Oh, that warped to those Eldritch Blast, please.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Is a 15 plus 6, so 21.
Hits.
And 17 plus 6.
Hits.
23.
Devastating. Rolling straight rocks today.
These are hitting hard.
He's great.
So that's going 9 and 9. So 18 points of damage, and it gets thrown back twice.
Okay. Slamming back into the wall, heavily bleeding out of several wounds. These two figures now, one of their faces fully slack and drooping. The other head just laying limp, maybe perhaps already passed away in the terrible volley of this fight. This thing clings to the edges of its existence. It is its turn. It is going to lunge out at Burdock. You're the last one to attack it, and you did a pretty good job of it.
At my Echo Knight.
Yeah. Damn. 18 to hit?
That hits by or I guess 17 is the AC, so that hits by over 2.
All right.
Don't even need to roll damage. It's got 1 HP.
Oh, it does? Yeah, so it is dispelled. 8 points of slashing damage. Sorry, piercing
And
damage.
does it move within my reach then?
No, it just attacks.
Or what's its reach for its range for its attack?
Warped Spear has a range of 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. All right. So yeah, that thing vanishes.
Ah,
I have no idea how that
it
works.
lasts a while.
Okay. Fuse does not get a turn. It is dead. Burdock, avenge your shadow!
Oh no. Yeah. So I will be like, you haven't. You know what my shadow set would usually says? You haven't seen the last of it. And I guess like bonus action, conjure up my echo, like right on top of it, and and it will just like swirl at halberd, take 2 more attacks.
You hear a no as this thing appears and slashes down.
Burdock is essentially a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah. So that's a 21
Hits.
to hit for the lowest one. All right.
Roll that Joe DiMaggio. I gotta make sure that he hasn't done anything weird in the last little bit. Is he alive?
All right.
Go to Maggio? No, he's dead.
All right. So that's 18 points of slashing damage.
Yeah,
As
he
a
died in
halberd.
1999.
Yeah.
Oh.
You have that fear. That's the you make a pop culture reference and a cold
Yeah.
sweat breaks out on your neck a moment later.
What was the total damage?
18.
18. All right,
Cut it in
you
half.
sunder this warped being. You slam down with your halberd and inflict a mortal wound, slashing deep into the important organs, fused, strange things that they may be that this creature has, and it falls down as its companion did, dead.
All right, liar. You know what time it is.
Always.
Great. You all, I assume, move forward. Continue, yes?
Are we burning the bodies,
We're
or
burning the
shall
bodies.
Yeah. Does it look like they're kind of like
Interestingly,
mutating?
these aren't. These do not seem to have the same sort of mindless nature that the stained do. As they fall, they remain dead. Not
Burn 'em
seemingly
anyways.
instinctive.
Burn anyways.
You toss them into the brazier in the middle, and their bodies begin to smolder and crack.
No one's fusing our watch.
Get out of here!
Not on my planet.
The sleeping one by the plant, though, should we try burning it too?
We should probably maybe pull it away from the plant. I do take a look at that thing that was sleeping next to the plant. Does it look like it's already pretty much past the point of no return? Or does it seem like it's in a magical sleep that maybe we can save it?
It seems like it was in a magical sleep a couple days ago. Now the vines and roots have sort of started to crawl into the edges of the armor.
Yeah.
This thing does appear to be, just like the one that you fought, this appears to be another fused sort of knight that has now also slowly begun to become sort of consumed, infected, you don't know, by this plant.
Yeah, I'll fly or burn this one too.
Burn it.
You toss a torch across the expanse, and as it touches the edge, it alights, flaring across the garden, burning these plants. You watch those spores begin to burn, and those leaves and tendrils begin to, like, react as if in pain. The form of the knight attempts to pull itself up, and you see all of these roots burrowed into it from the plant won't allow it. As the knight begins to try to pull itself free, it cannot, and it burns with the rest of the garden on that side.
Another win for nature. Let's go inside.
Woo!
Seems like a strange duality though with these creatures. Like some of them are like a fusion of like fauna, the others are like a twisted flora, but not even themselves anymore.
I think that it's some sort of parasite. That seems apt. And I think that the longer they're in contact with it, well, I think it's twofold. The more intelligent the creature, the longer it takes for it to be consumed. And then after it gets fully consumed, it does something like lay down next to the plants. But before that happens, they're those amalgamated creatures, etc. If they die, they're instantly taken because they're mindless at that point. They're undead. So that's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sound theories.
You step through a tall 10-foot high door, and before you see a room that seems to have once served as Pokemon, I guess. Seems to have once served
It's you.
as some sort of memorial hall. You see these beautiful painted murals all across the walls. One standing out to you to the north, to the northeast, you see a wall depicting a blue light surrounded by similar lights in various different colors. You're not sure exactly what that is. Do we have a hard spellcaster in the class?
I mean, I spell cast.
Yeah, make an Arcana check, Liar, as you see this.
That is actually an efficiency.
I can detect magic if you need to.
Arcana check, that is a 17 plus 4.
17 plus 4, 21. You are very familiar with this image. You've seen it before. This wall depicts the concept of chromatic attunement, which is basically this belief that the various planes of existence coordinate to colors. And that is something that you know. That is one of the great discoveries that this observatory has made. You are somewhat distracted by that, however. As you look around, you see that those roots and branches are in this room as well, cracking through pavement and tiles, bound up against the walls. It makes a tomb in this place. You see the better part of a dozen bodies fused into these winding briars and thorns. To your left, there is a doorway. To your right, there is a doorway. And directly in front of you, there is this large archway that has seemingly a barrier of that bright magenta energy filling it. Two traces of light extend down from it on either side and head under each of the doors.
Are any of us very Arcana inclined?
Liar just made a banger of an
-1.
Arcana check. I assume he could make another.
That's fair.
If you want, I can. Or do you want me to use detect magic to take a look around this place?
Detect magic, does that tell you the type of magic and all that? Or is it just, yep, there's magic, it glows here?
Yeah, I learn at school, and I can sort of see the aura of anything magical.
My guess is that barrier is going to be abjuration.
Indeed.
I was going to say maybe we can have Liar walk up on it to see what it might be what might be spawning it, etc. Don't waste the spell slot is what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
Liar,
Well, that-
Arcana.
Yep. Emerald I speak. Is this why my patron brought me this way? Who knows? Alright, that is a 12 plus 4, so a 16.
16. Okay, you get a couple of things from this. One, yes, it does seem to be some sort of abjurative barrier. Two, you can tell that these two ley lines that seem to be leading to it are kind of power sources of some sort. And number three, because that was a very good roll, this barrier is, looking at it, looking at the sigils around it, if allowed to continue, is one of many parts of a ritual that would have sort of carved off this as an extra dimensional space. That would take long months. So they're by the looks of it, they're about a month and a half into the ritual that would do that. But that means they have, 2 months and a couple weeks left. This is like big, extensive, long-term magic they're trying to do here.
Yeah. I tell them, Shui, could I break this wall? Do you guys think that'd be a good idea?
Yeah, I think probably attack the ley lines, right? See if
Mm.
that gets us through.
Deal with them at their sources.
Yeah, can I track the lines of power into another space? Where do those come from?
Yes, they both. So when you walked in, there was 2 doors, one to either side, and then this barrier in
go
front
in
of
there.
you. They go under the doors to the left and right.
Well, I think
You wanna open a door and I'll send my echo in?
It's guys. Just
that would
remember,
be so funny.
it is a one shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty direct.
I'll open the door. You send your echo in, and I'll close the door again.
Unfortunately, this is almost certainly going to be a 2-parter. Looking at the clock, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you send your echo.
It can only go 30 feet away from me.
Open the door and send your echo
Yeah.
through. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you open the door on the left or the door on the right?
I vote left.
All right.
Spencer hit you with
Left
that.
it
Left
is.
is always right.
Left is always right.
Above the doorway, you see a plaque reading "The Hall of Scholars." As you open, you see sort of a place of honor, assumably, going off of the name, for some scholars, perhaps of particular fame, who spent their time at this observatory. The room is divided into 2 sections, one higher than the other. The lower area before you is a collection of portraits, seemingly depicting a few figures. You'd have to take a closer look to examine much more. The upper area is decorated with a number of statues depicting different figures. At the head of that circle is a large stone tomb, a place where a body could be laid to rest. At the foot of that tomb, there's a strange jagged cut, as if in the air itself, and a odd sort of silvery mist is pouring out of it, and slowly but surely filling the room with this low-hanging fog.
Yeah, I'll use detect magic in the doorway and look around from there.
Absolutely. Ironic. This is so funny. So I've rolled a natural 20 stealth check, which doesn't matter for this monster because as you cast detect magic into space, you see the following things. One is the portal has that magenta color sort of slowly swirling around it. You wanted to cast this spell so bad, by the way, Stefan. The last 5 problems, you were like, detect magic. Sort of gently glowing with that same unnatural magenta energy, which is, in that case, that magic is conjuration in nature. The other thing you see is, despite the natural 20s that they rolled, you see 2 figures crawling the walls to your left and right, moving silently. You see these strange, kind of like really traditional alien looking figures, gray skin, narrow limbs, but very different in appearance. One has this sort of row of frills around its neck, and the other has these long claws and is a little bit more muscularly built than the other. They're both sort of crawling up the wall and looking down at you below. You notice them, notice the portal, as your Echo trumps into the room, going dun 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 dun, stomping into the center of the room. You have a moment. You've seen these creatures. They think they have the drop on you. Is there anything we want to do in this moment? It's not a surprise round. You're not going to get a free attack. I just want to know how you react to seeing that an ambush is about to be sprung.
Yeah, I guess I will. My guy with, or my Echo will sort of start beelining it towards the Quill one then, or the Guild one.
Oh, okay. So the Echo like goes as if it's looking into the corner of the room. So my only note: it's about 10 feet up the wall.
Okay, yeah, it's got a 10-foot range with the halberd.
Great.
Then.
Your thing pretends to move forward and then dashes off to the side with this halberd to swing high. Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and roll initiative. I said you weren't going to get a free attack, and I meant it.
Yeah.
But you will get some free movement.
Oh, not 20 for initiative.
Let me say something. Dramatically relevant. Love that.
Yes.
So you kind of did in the end. Okay. Liar?
I got a 7.
Oh, 7 for Quill.
Oh,
Like 4 in a row.
14.
14. Great. You guys did great in this one. Well, most of you.
Well,
Quill!
I
Get
did
your
great for
shit
me.
together! Just start screaming. Just get really heated. Up first is Burdick Branchbud. Burdick, you do get the action that you wanted to as your thing dashes to the corner of the room and attacks this frilled creature.
all right. Does a 10 hit?
A 10 misses. This thing really quickly skitters out of the way a little bit.
And a dirty 20.
Dirty 20 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. Ooh, and I can re-roll that. That's 14 slashing.
14 points of slashing damage. Okay. Youth. Tough start.
And for
You see this thing like screeches and these frills around its neck like shudder as it lets out that screech, and the air around it kind of warbles.
All right, I'll just be like, "There's 2 of them in there. Stay close to me." As I like walk 5 more feet into the space,
All right, you
And
step 5 feet forward.
guard the doorway.
Totally. Liar, you're up.
All right. Yeah, I'll because there's two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, one on either side.
Yep, I'll just blast at both of them.
Real, just walk in. Love that.
The old spell slinger. 10 plus 6. Yes.
Hits.
So 16, and the other one is it's going to be an 8 plus 6.
14
So 14.
hits.
Cool.
And they're gonna get knocked off the wall. Let's go.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. I guess they would.
So 4 plus 3 on the first one.
4 plus 3. Okay, 7 points of damage to the uninjured one then.
And then 2 plus 3 to the other one, so 5 points to the injured.
The injured one, absolutely. You blast into both of these, and kind of like you're playing pool, you aim for like the top of them so that they go down. As it blasts into them, they both slam into the ground beneath them. I think, in fairness, I am going to have them each take a d6 of damage. They did fall 10 feet just now. The first one takes 3. The second one only takes 1. So the this like more muscular one lands hard on its shoulder. The other one course corrects like a cat and lands on its feet. Okay. Great. Doo-doo-doo. With that, it is the sort of clawed one's turn. Looking around at whoever is closest, it is actually Liar in the doorway is closer to it than Burdick, because Burdick,
Yeah.
you're sort of in the center of the room. You said you stepped forward, right?
5 feet, yeah, into the door, into the room from the doorway, yeah.
Okay, then you're equidistant. It's gonna go for equidistant. Wait a minute. Something with these creatures. Never mind. It completely ignores you, Burdick, and whirls on Liar and dashes towards him.
Ooh.
All right, and will it get within 10 feet of me?
Yes, it'll enter as it goes to
Alright.
attack him.
Then my opportunity attack will go off, and only swinging a 10.
You miss. Thank goodness. You would have made this combat way more boring if you'd hit.
Oh,
Okay.
but
This thing
more
goes
survivable.
out and quickly takes 2 attacks against you, Liar.
Okay.
I rolled incredible. Those definitely both hit. It is a 22 and a 25.
Yeah, they both hit. I had good AC, not that good.
Okay. From those 2 attacks, you take 14 points of slashing damage as this thing dashes across the space and stabs into you with its claws. As it does, and you're trying to fight it off, it immediately turns and dashes back into the room away from you.
Okay, attack of opportunity.
You do not.
Okay.
It's when it hits you with when it hits you within its with its attack, you cannot attack of opportunity.
It's got the mobile feet.
It's got the mobile.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, Spencer. Man.
They're mobiles.
Yeah, keep your mouth shut. All right. Great. God, there's so much going on. All right. So it has attacked you and moved 30 feet deeper into the room. The other one is going to use its bonus action to use stride. Burdick, you watch it go do that like again, and those things flare, and it vanishes and reappears behind you 15 feet off the other side back into the room, which ironically puts it real close to Burdick's real body. It is probably within range for your halberd, because that would be 10 feet. Yeah.
I used my reaction already, though.
Yeah, but my point is, it hasn't sort of successfully moved too far past.
Ah, okay. So it moved back into the main room then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's Quillen time.
Okay. It's going to reach out a hand at you, Burdick. Constitution saving throw.
All right. $13.
13 is just a failure.
Ooh.
Rough.
Barely. You're going to take some damage. I rolled quite bad. You feel suddenly this creature doesn't seem to be able to, like, teleport you against your will, but you watch as it just makes you, like, flicker and shudder in space as it tries to exert some control over you. You take 8 points of force damage.
Ooh.
And you all watch, it's like Burdick is very, very rapidly disappearing and reappearing in space before he eventually manages to settle himself.
All right. And my eyes are still glowing with detect magic. I passed the con save for that, at least.
Phew. Great. Love it. Alrighty. That is the jumper's turn. It doesn't want to move. It likes where it is, unfortunately. Where it is sucks, but it's good for its companion. You see it, like, think about fleeing, stare off into the mist, and then stay at this distance away from Burdick. Okay.
You guys remember the movie Jumper? That's your
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Jumper was
I like
awesome.
it.
With Anakin Skywalker and Mace Windu in
Yeah.
it. Back at it again.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, all right, Quill, you're up.
Yeah, so Quill, I guess, pushes through the doorway. Sorry, guys, excuse me.
Pardon me. Excuse me. That's great. I love that.
He's going to try to get to the closest one, just because I'm sure he doesn't have very much movement.
Yeah, I mean,
So
no
I'm gonna-
question at all. The jumper is right there.
Yep, excuse me. And I swing down.
Excuse me,
and
the
my-
jumper looks up just as you.
The lowest roll on that is a 13.
Is
So
13.
13 hit. Yeah.
13 misses.
All right. The other one is a 17
Hits.
Okay.
Yeah, this thing, again, you watch as it just, like, flickers off to the side a little bit as you swing down, but your second blow hits. How much damage?
10 points of slashing damage.
Okay, not the most hardy creature, starting to look really injured. This thing takes that slash, falling to the side, letting out another snarl as its neck continues to, like, flicker and shine. Excuse me.
I'm not going to use a spell. I was thinking about compelling it, but I won't.
Great. Okay, cool. Back up at the top of initiative, Burdick. This thing is right in front of you. There's another shape moving off in this sort of low-hanging mist. Apparently is to these creatures' advantage. You can sense the other creatures perhaps prowling out in those mists.
All right, I'll take a swing at this jumper one. And is that a 17 to hit?
17 absolutely hits.
All right, that'll be 8 damage, slashing.
8? Nice. Great.
And it's still-
yeah, it's still up. Another attack. This thing keeps taking these blows, trying to shake them off, looking around more frantically now, more panicked.
All right, I missed the second one, and I also tried to swat at it with my the halberd, the back of the halberd, and also missed that one.
Yeah, again, you're watching as you get close. This thing on its neck continues to like frill and shake, and its form keeps like shuddering off to the side, doing these like micro teleports in space.
I'm imagining like the High Templar from the original StarCraft game, because they like have that like after illusion effect as they move.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Makes sense to me.
and I'll just tell my my Echo moves over to Lyre and kind of guards him.
Great. And Lyre, you are up.
All right. Yeah, Eldritch Blast.
Absolutely. So for the record, that other creature didn't have the action economy it needed to hide, so you can see it off further into the room. You can see where it is sort of prowling. Do you attack this very, very injured one, or do you attack that one, or do you want to split?
I'll do the very injured one.
Great.
Both shots.
Okay. Well, who knows? First one might do it.
Yeah, who knows? 9 plus 6, so a 15.
15 will hit. Roll damage.
That is 7 plus 3, so 10 points of damage.
You son of a bitch. You blast this Eldritch Blast and send the creature's body tumbling like a tumbleweed back into the room. It slams into the steps of the stone with a sickening crack. Dead. That other creature continues to like skitter and locks eyes with you, Lyre. You're still up.
My eyes locked on him. That blast has got so close. It's a 19 plus 6.
That still hits
25.
though. Tell you what. What is this Ghibli ass fight music?
It sounds familiar. This has got to be in something.
Yeah.
That's 5 plus
Better
3,
not
so
be.
it's
I know.
8 points of damage.
8 points, you said?
Mm-hmm.
You guys ready to get demonetized? Spencer's doing some Googling. He looks not pleased.
Yeah, it's from
Nier Automata?
Nier.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Hey,
it sounds like Nier Automata.
Hey, chat, be so cool right now. Hey guys, if you're watching this, just be chill. Just be.
This
just
stuff
be chill.
might not be monetized.
Hey, chat. Be chill. All right. Getting back into it.
Trying to skip then. Oh, it did work.
Well, if one of them's copyrighted, I got bad news about the rest. All right. But let's focus back in here. I don't want to get too off the rails. We had pretty good momentum there.
Cool.
That was Lyre's turn. It is the Stowaway's turn. The jumper is dead. The Stowaway. Stowaway's not feeling good about this position. It can't get to Lyre very easily. You all watch it like skitter around a little bit, and it keeps its eyes fixed on Lyre. It's like darts over to Quill, back to Burdick, but really focuses on him. Eventually, looking out, it quickly skitters over to the wall, climbs 10 feet, so that's 10 feet over, 10 feet up for 20. 10 feet in would get it to 30. It doesn't have the movement to get down, so it scrolls over the wall, up the wall, across the top, and then lets go to take the falling damage so that it can hit Lyre 2 more times.
Hilarious.
So is it going around my halberd then?
Yes,
Or-
it had to use a whole bunch of movement and take some damage to do it, but yes, it scurries around you.
Ah.
What was I doing? I forgot what I was doing. I was like, they're not done rolling yet? Get it together, guys. Michael, that is a 13 and a 20 something.
The 20 hits, the 13 does not.
Great.
I got a nat 20 on my sentinel reaction.
Oh,
'Cause
it avoided your range by going up the
Yeah,
wall.
the pole arm range, I guess it avoided, but when it attacks him, I'll do the reaction to attack.
What does it do? What is that?
That's from the sentinel thing when
Sentinel.
you're within 5 feet.
You have 2
I
feats
see.
at level 5?
You didn't take an ability score improvement for your.
No, yeah.
Wow, powerful stuff. Yeah,
Well, I think the sentinel is from the a fighting style, or
Whatever.
no, Sentinel's a feat.
yeah.
But regardless, so I'm really not sure what the order of operations is here, though. So does this attack finish before that reaction hits?
The reaction is after an attack.
Okay,
So I guess after the one that lands.
So I'll move through with this attack then. So that first attack was a miss. The second attack was a 20 something. I assume that hits.
Yes, the 20 hits, the 13 does not.
Okay, you take 7 points of slashing damage.
How much?
7.
7, okay.
And then and then Burdock, your reaction goes off. Roll to hit. Nat 20, you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Nat 20, roll damage and double it.
Cool. 6 points.
6, no! A tragedy in one act. You manage to switch off quickly and slash forward with this attack, sending the creature sort of reeling backwards. That's your reaction. It climbs over and around Lyre and moves out of this room into the next one. Using its... Lyre cannot make an attack of opportunity, and it takes advantage of that, trying to get a little bit of space. Lyre's in the doorway, so you guys will have to either like push Lyre to try to get by or figure something out as we get back into combat. Great. Jumper's dead. It doesn't get a turn. Quill, you gonna end this before it even starts?
Yeah. How many feet away is it from me? Because I'm gonna have to use double movement to get past Burdock's space.
Ironically, not very far because it sort of had to go up and around in that way. I would say it's about 20 feet from you.
Okay, so it's just doable.
Yeah, it's just right there.
I run up and I do like push Burdock out of the way, swing the sword the second I get through the doorway.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, it only had 10 feet of movement left, but it had more.
there's a 15 hit.
A 15 will hit.
The other one is an 8, and that's not gonna do it.
8 doesn't do it.
Max damage 11.
11 points of damage. You run up and slash across the side of this thing, and it skitters and tumbles to the ground and perishes.
Whew.
As it does, you watch that fracture at the end of that room shudder and cringe and slowly stitch shut. These 2 anchor points no longer here to keep it open.
Nice. I look to the barrier. Does it seem like we can get through it yet, or do both need to be down?
It is now like sort of shuddering and iridescent. It doesn't look like you could force your way through. At this point, maybe like a Dispel Magic or something would break it down if you wanted to. It really depends on sort of what abilities the party has.
I don't have anything that would help. Anyone else?
To do what we're trying to do exactly?
Dispel the barrier that the ley lines were holding up.
Are there any extinguished like braziers, candlesticks, or anything in this room?
Yeah, there's a couple.
I'll like use my druidcraft to kind of like light those up to see if they'll help deter the energy of the place.
Yeah, it clears some of the mist that's sort of hanging low over the ground and starts to clear a little bit of air. It illuminates these portraits across the wall. You see one of them depicts Mishka Nerimus, the sort of Grand Meister of this place, a gentleman now in his late, in his early 30s now. Mishka is, you see, a little bit gaunt, a little bit sallow, a little bit of a yellow torpor to the skin from spending so many long days inside, an image of a sort of willowy, polite looking young man staring back at you, and across from it, the portrait of Thoman Plascade, Master Lenswright, a much older man with dark skin, a little bit of a hunch posture, even in this portrait. So you assume that he either came here old or maybe had a new portrait done when he became the Master Lenswright, as he is now. Both of them sort of depicted, along with a couple of other figures that are a little bit less notable.
All right. No dispel magic's on my end. So if none of us have that, I believe our best bet will be to enter room number 2, the one on the right.
Yes.
As our party
Same.
looks to room number 2, what were you about to say?
Oh yeah, shall we do the same plan? I'll send in my echo and we can look around.
Sounds good to me.
As you begin to make plans and approach the other door, I'm looking down at the time, and it's 9:56. With that, I think because 10 is our sort of normal wrap-up time, 10:30 on special occasions. But unfortunately, I don't think, if memory serves, this is not one such special occasion. Am I wrong about that?
No, we can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Why'd you do that?
I went,
I was in the middle of Santa. Oh, I heard. And I was like,
no, I went,
I was like, wait a minute.
they probably cut off.
Yeah, that's fine. So with that, we will wrap up. We are exactly halfway through the Void's Eye Observatory. So heads up, this is like a 5-hour one shot. We might have to maybe go in there with some scissors and trim a little bit. Although, most one shots do run for like a good solid session there.
Yeah.
So take this as a sort of snap preview. If we have another of these scheduling conflicts coming up, perhaps we will finish the Void's Eye Observatory next time around. If you liked this, you are contractually obligated to go buy. Again, you have been listening to the show for free. It's time to stop being a freeloader and go buy Lich's Dollhouse.
Lich's Dollhouse, DTRPG, $3.
Again, you are obliged. It is a blood pact. Okay, with that, I don't know the spiel as well, so I'm going to sort of tip my hat back to Spencer to sign us off.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Party Makes Things Worse / scheduling conflicts, the prestige show where we never know exactly when it's going to happen. Please tune in. We do the same show every Thursday. So we do 7:30 p.m. to about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Typically, this is a Theros D&D 5e adventure. We're wrapping it up. We've got about 40 episodes on YouTube that you can go and listen through. If you're not interested in that, understandable. We will be starting some mini arcs coming up pretty soon. Once we wrap up Theros, we're going to be doing DM swaps. We're going to be doing different campaigns, potentially different systems. So keep your eyes peeled. Besides that, you can find us on DriveThruRPG and itch.io. You can buy our games there, our adventures, etc. We also do DM Writer's Room, and that is every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please tune in for that one.
Proud of you.
We demystified the DMing process, and we build adventures like this. The one we played today is one that we made months ago. So, again, tune in. Follow us on TikTok. You can follow us on Instagram. You can catch our streams on YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow, send to your friends. Send $3 to us for Lich's Dollhouse. And we'll catch you in the next one.